I would like to take a moment before we get into today's main episode and to talk about my sponsor for the podcast. Podmatch is a new podcasting site dedicated to all podcasters. The platform helps hosts get connected with potential guests to appear on their show, as well as allow guests to find podcasts that will give them a chance to share their story. Podmatch offers many tools to help organize your page, from to-do lists to episode planning to potentially appearing on a leaderboard. Podmatch has it all. The best part, you have the potential to get paid. And who doesn't like to get paid from home? I like to. With an easy sign up, you can start connecting with podcasters and guests immediately. I have been a part of Podmatch since the beginning of May, and I have got to say that it was the best decision I've ever made because Podmatch helps your podcast grow. It helps you get connected with people that have very interesting, very compelling background stories that are just waiting for their story to be shared. So if you are a host or guest and would like to start building professional relationships, explore more opportunities, and have your story shared, I highly suggest that you sign up with Podmatch today by going to joinpodmatch.com/lethal venom to start expanding your network in seconds. I would like to give another huge thank you to Podmatch for sponsoring this episode. Now on to our main episode, and again, you can sign up at joinpodmatch.com/lethal venom to begin your podcasting journey today. Hello everyone, welcome to the Lethal Venom Podcast. This is the show where I talk about anything I want with the honest to God truth, no lies told. Today I am joined by Rob Rene. Rob is a former high-level athlete and near-death survivor whose life was transformed after a near-fatal accident. With a deep passion for natural health, Rob has become an inspiring keynote speaker, herbalist, and molecular hydrogen researcher, sharing his unique insights on living a pain-free and vibrant life. As a frequent medicine specialist, he uses cutting-edge techniques to heal, while his investigative work exposes the hidden truths behind the mainstream medical system. So he's going to share a little bit about his story and journey. Rob, thank you so much for joining us today.
And no, I'm super excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
So if you could just do a little bit of a introduce yourself and tell me a little bit about what you do.
Sounds great. Just as a quick background story, I started off, as a youth athlete, I was really passionate about as a runner. And I'll tell a little bit about this story because it's impactful to what I'm doing today. One of the reasons why I believe I was better than a lot of my competition when I was a runner was I had read some books about how to eat to win was one of the books I read, and that was talked about fueling your body appropriately. And since I was a distance runner, it really made a big difference in my athletic ability. So nutrition, again, just was super important, and that was my goal in life, right? I was a young runner, and I'd made the U.S. junior team, so I was the second best miler in the country. I'd gotten a full ride scholarship to a Division I school, and I was just on my way, right? Everything was going well. I wanted to make the Olympics for the United States track team, and that was where I was headed and my goal. And then lo and behold, that winter after my making the U.S. junior team, I got into an accident. An actual 4x4 truck hit me while I was running, and that threw me 36 feet, and I landed on my face, and I almost perished that day. And so that was a really scary time, and also a really depressing time after that because of everything I'd been working towards up in that till that point, transitioned my and changed my entire life. But I kind of knew that God had a plan for me because I did survive that accident. So that was important. Then, I went through life, kind of did what the world told me to do. I got a job at a large corporation, and I moved up the corporate ladder, and had a family and three children, and had a home with a white picket fence, and all the things that the world tells you to do, I was doing. And then what I call the second truck hit me. That second truck is the pandemic. It hit everybody, but and it hit me in a really similar way to the first one did. It really just flipped my life around in a very short period of time where, I was like I mentioned, had a successful corporate career, and then all of a sudden, boom, that became over. I couldn't travel for my job during that period, and I was a salesperson, so they downsized the sales team, and so I had time to research things for the first time, and that's when I uncovered a lot of what's going on with the healthcare system. And I was trying to figure out a way to keep my family safe during the early days of COVID, when everybody was, trying to figure it out. And so that period of time is where I really developed a passion for finding out what was wrong with our healthcare system. And then also, I developed an amazing relationship with the Bible and with my Savior. And so I became a much more stronger Christian during that time frame when I had a lot of time to research and understand the Bible. So those are the things that have really impacted my life, and I believe that God had a plan for my life the entire time and has trained me to do exactly what I'm doing today. So sorry for the long-winded answer, but that's kind of a short summary of who I am and how I got to being doing what I'm doing today.
No, no worries, no worries at all. You have said in your thing that you're all for all natural health. Do
Yeah.
you have an idea why all natural health is being censored?
Yes, I do. That's what the crazy thing about it. And what woke me up to that was early on in the pandemic, I was listening to people, and this one doctor was getting vilified for talking about vitamin D. And vitamin D is almost like the most basic mineral. It's like it comes from the sun, right? So I was like, okay, either vitamin D is really bad, or this doctor is really bad, or they're vilifying him for some unknown reason. So I did research on all three. So this was the fun part about my life, and a skill set that I want to implore on anybody now is don't believe anything anybody tells you. Go do research for yourself, and then you'll start finding resources that you can rely on that are open, and they tell you the truth, right? No lies or deception. It's just it's factual information that you can get, but it's really hard to find sometimes. So anyway, the shortcutting to that story about vitamin D is like, okay, vitamin D I researched, and it's not bad. It's a very healthy element. In fact, without the sun, we none of the plants would survive, and we'd have none of the oxygen that we breathe today, right? So vitamin D is a core element to our existence. So I knew vitamin D wasn't bad, and I'm like, okay, this doctor must be a really bad doctor. So I did a bunch of research on the doctor himself, and he wasn't bad. He was an all-natural health practitioner trying to help people naturally with natural elements. So I'm like, okay, why is the government suing him for billions of dollars? I mean, that was literally with a B. They were suing him for talking about vitamin D. So I started uncovering why they would do that. And what it came down to is I researched back in the early 1900s, the Rockefellers took over the medical schools. They created a report called the Flexner Report. And this is stuff you can go validate yourself and verify. You don't have to believe me, but go research the Flexner Report and look what happened and what they did with that report. They took over the medical schools at that time, and the Rockefellers had owned all the oil companies, and they um, bought these medical schools, and those medical schools only taught pharmaceutical-based medication. And so the reason why they were doing that is they could get those pharmaceutical medications patented, and so they could make a lot of money. And they would only teach pharmaceutical based medicine in those schools. And if you were a holistic practitioner back then, they were vilifying you. That's where the word quack came from. You've probably heard the term quack. Oh, that doctor is a quack. And that term came back from then when they were vilifying all natural health doctors. It started off with chiropractors who they were calling quacks. And so they literally did a campaign around making these people look bad so that people would go to traditional medicine. And so that's where it started. And then the money just kept rolling into that establishment. And you can tell by big pharma nowadays. I mean, we spend the most money on healthcare than any other nation in the world, and we're almost the worst. in health in the United States of America. That's just a tragedy, and the tragedy is a couple of reasons. One is the healthcare system is set up for pharmaceutical-based medicine. They've really minimized the importance of nutrition. A doctor who goes through 12 years of schooling, they only maybe have one semester of nutrition in that schooling. It's not really important and big part of their training, but if you look at the human body and how God made the human body, it fuels itself by what you eat, right? And it actually it doesn't function well unless you give it the right nutrients it needs. And I remember that back from my running days, right? That's why I told you that story would come back. And the reason that it's important to me now is because I know how important putting what inside your body fuels your body. And God made this temple of ours, is a body that we have. We only have one of them, so you better take care of it. And you have to take care of it by feeding it the nutrients it needs. And when you do that, it starts operating the way it's supposed to operate. And then when you get your gut health better, for example, then your organs start working better. You know, your liver starts working the way it's supposed to, your kidney starts working the way it's supposed to. It's on and on and on. And then your body is built to heal itself. So if you feed it the right things, your body can repair and fix itself in a lot of cases. So it's just fun and fascinating for me to go help people understand how important all natural health is. And I think there's always a time and a place for modern medicine. You know, you break your leg, you need to go get it set, and you need to go to an emergency room to get that done. You know, type of thing. So there's still a play for modern medicine, and I think they're working on some interesting cures and things that will help people. But by and large, a really large majority of our healthcare system is just set up for a pill for an ill society, where we go to the doctor to get a pill for a specific problem. Maybe it's a heart problem, you get a pill for that heart problem. But guess what? That all those the side effects that those pills have, they start adding up. And then you go to a different specialist for maybe your kidney. And then the kidney specialist says, oh, you need this pill. And you take another pill. And I found out when I was doing my research that the average senior today takes 15 different prescription medications in 1 year. 15. That's a lot of medications, right? In one year. And those all have side effects. So those start adding up on top of each other and really makes it bad. So again, another really long-winded answer to how I believe all natural health is being censored is, literally back from the 1900s it started. And then back then in the 1900s, 50% of our holistic, or 50% of our healthcare folks were holistic practitioners. The other 50 were standard medicine doctors. The other 50% were holistic. Now, today, guess what that percentage is? It's like 0.01% a holistic practitioner compared to 99.9% regular practitioners. So, or health people. So the problem is we've just downplayed the natural side, and we've put all this emphasis on where the money is. And the big pharma controls the research studies that happen. They control the medical schools and the research institutes. They own all the doctors and the scientists that are part of all of that infrastructure. Big pharma owns, because they have so much money that they pour in a ton of money into all these institutions, and even the medical, I mean, sorry, the media, right? When you watch TV, you see all these pharmaceutical ads. It's literally not to market their pharmaceutical. It's to pour money into the station. So they're funding the station by giving them money to play their commercials, but no one buys those medicines based upon watching the commercial, right? The doctor has to prescribe it. So they do that so then they can own the media. So then when they want something done, they have the media behind them as well. So it's just this really complicated and complex mix of misinformation that's controlled by people that have a ton of money, right? And they have so much money, they're very, very good at creating a narrative that sounds really, really popular and good, and they can control what people talk about. And that's, you really saw that come to light with COVID. I mean, they were vilifying anybody talking about natural health and anything against their their vaccinations or against the things that people were saying is counter to those. They would just vilify in a big way, and they would attack them in a really aggressive way. They would just take them off of social media. You saw that in, now after the fact, we saw that with when Twitter, the Twitter files that came open, they showed how the government was literally targeting specific doctors and specific people because they were trying to tell different information than what they wanted to be told. And that different information typically was all natural health related or products that were inexpensive that could still help you. For example, hydroxychloroquine or ivermectin and those types of things. When people talked about those, they would get vilified during the COVID years. And now we're coming to the point where people are using those every day to help with common health issues. So anyway, that's again something I'm very passionate about because I think it's a tragedy that's happened in the United States. We need people to wake up and understand that our healthcare system is more of a pill for an ill society, and if you want to take care of your health, you have to start doing your own research and take care of your own case, right? You need to be in charge of your case, and then you need to go research, and then you need to start finding people who are going to help you with your specific problem, and have them look at your body holistically, right? If you have a heart problem, you need to go look at the body holistically. Maybe there's something that you're doing by you feeding it with your gut, with what you're eating, or with what the type of air you're getting, or the water you're drinking, etc., can really have a big impact on your health. So there you go. So sorry for the long-winded answer again.
No, I feel like the healthcare system during COVID really did not know what they were talking about.
Yeah,
It,
yeah,
which I understand because I was a senior when it happened, and it just happened so quickly. It it kind of became such a jumbo mess of you didn't really know who to believe anymore.
right.
It
Yeah,
became more of a he said she said kind of, and you just kind of had to take your own opinion and run with it.
yeah, yep, yeah. And they were really good at spending lots of time, effort, money, and resources to control the narrative, right? So they ended up winning the narrative in most people's minds because they could control the information from the media, from TV, from the social media companies. If you were one of the people who were talking against it, they would shadow ban you. They would not let people see your information, and so it became really, really hard to get that information out there. And thank goodness we have a little bit, much more of a decentralized information system nowadays with the internet and all the different, Reddits and all the different Telegram and all the different types of places that you can post content. And then after Elon took over Twitter, right, that has been much less censored than what they were before. But man, they controlled the narrative because they would just censor anybody talking against them. So it became hard to find good information because they were just so good at, and the government was so good at identifying people and saying, "Hey, you need to take that post down." Because it's talking against what our narrative is, and regardless of whether their narrative was right or wrong, they were censoring people's information just illegally. It's really sad to see how that did transpire during that time. But you're right. I think a lot of people kind of started seeing that and then going, "Oh, geez, I need to start making my own decision on these things." And a lot of people didn't take the shots, for example, because they're like, I'm not sure if I want to take something that hasn't been tested like all the other shots in the past have been, right? Now we're seeing those shots are creating a lot of heart problems, just a whole bunch of different myocarditis and all the bunch of different things that are happening in society because of those cancers going through the roof, the rapid cancer rates, and just lots of things that are they're negative from taking them. So anyway, it's a crazy conversation.
When I did your intro, you had in your intro that you were a researcher for molecular hydrogen. What is that exactly, and what are the benefits of it?
Yeah, that's another awesome question. So I've been spending a good part of my time the last couple of years on nutrients that can help fuel the body, and I spent a lot of time in the Bible researching all the ingredients in that are mentioned in the Bible. Or like, if God had it in the Bible, it's probably something we should pay attention to. So I did research on all of them. There's 25 or so ingredients specifically mentioned, or herbs and superfoods mentioned in the Bible. And I was digging into all of them and I was trying to figure them out. And I came up with a list of these really awesome ingredients. And I was just praying, to try to find something that was a combination that hadn't been tried before, that could really have significant health benefits. And lo and behold, I believe the Lord led me to this practitioner in California. And this practitioner in California had this molecular hydrogen blend that when you put this capsule in your body, when it interacts with the bodily fluid in your stomach, it creates molecular hydrogen. And I started researching on what molecular hydrogen does, and it's just fascinating because it helps with so many things within your body. It helps with energy, helps with reduced inflammation. It helps with stress relief and a number of other things. But the most important thing that I found about it is it acts as a master antioxidant. And I'd heard that word before, but I didn't really understand what that meant. So I did research and tried to break it down into a simple way to explain to people. And it really just means that these little micro nanobubbles get in your bloodstream and then they're smart and they can go find these free radicals in your bloodstream, which are bad, right? These free radicals are basically dying cells that need to be extracted from your body. And that's what the molecular hydrogen does. It goes and finds those free radicals and gets rid of them, but then is selective. And if you have good cells, it helps the good cells be more efficient and effective. So it helps your mitochondrial process be more robust, which is really healthy because that your mitochondrial processes are within your bloodstream are what create your energy. And so having molecular hydrogen inside your bloodstream is just very positive. And there's literally been thousands of scientific reports about hydrogen and how it helps the body. And from a biblical perspective, I love it because hydrogen is the smallest element that God created, right? On the periodic chart, it's like
Yep.
the smallest one. And
Hmm.
so it's fascinating how God uses those. And then I've found a way to make your body create molecular hydrogen. Since your body's creating it, it utilizes it much more so than any other way to get hydrogen inside the body. And so we paired our seven best biblical ingredients that enhance what molecular hydrogen does. So molecular hydrogen helps with energy. So we added barley grass and wheatgrass, which are the nutrients that you need for the day. So it really helps with a lot of, so you don't, instead of taking a green shake every morning and trying to find all the ingredients and building your own green shake, you can just take our excess supplement that has those ingredients. And we have saffron in it, which saffron is a really good mood enhancer. So it helps you relieve anxiety and stress in a lot of people's cases. It'll also cumin, aloe, frankincense, and myrrh are the other seven ingredients that we have. And those help with inflammation. And so it will help with the inflammation response is one of the clinical ways I can talk about it. And then you combine that with how molecular hydrogen works, and man, it just becomes this super amazing capsule that you can take, and you don't have to take five different other capsules or ingredients or shakes. You can just take one and it will do multiple things for you. But the most important one, I believe, is that molecular hydrogen component that acts as that master antioxidant. If you can get rid of your blood recycles every 60 days, I believe, 60 to 90 days. And so if you stay on this, you can take this molecular hydrogen every day. After that period of time, your blood's going to recycle and you're going to have really fresh, clean blood, which is important for people's health. So that's why it's so impactful.
In the Bible, it states that there were 2,000 years of ancient wisdom, healing herbs, and superfoods. What are some of them, and what are their benefits?
Yeah, so I mentioned a couple that I took these seven. So these seven are super awesome, right? The barley grass and wheatgrass are the nutrients. So it gives you, in fact, a lot of cancer oncology, natural oncology integrative specialists for cancer. Wheatgrass is like the most important thing they do. So they all juice wheatgrass every day because it's such a basic element and so important to the body. And there's a lot of healing benefits of what the oncologists say, right? Are healing benefits of wheatgrass. So we knew that it was an important element, so we put that into our product. And then I mentioned saffron. Saffron is like the most expensive element. It's more expensive than gold, right? Per weight. And so it's a really amazing substance. And you look at how people are using it today, and it's really good at anxiety and stress. And there's lots of people that have stress and anxiety. So, we put saffron into the product. And then aloe's got literally hundreds of documented benefits of what aloe can do. So we took the aloe leaf part of it, and it really helps with gut health. And gut health, again, is something really important. In my podcast, I Am Pain Free. I interview a lot of holistic doctors, and those doctors will tell you that your health starts in your gut. So if you can get your gut health healthy, get the bacteria lined up right? Because within our stomachs we have good and bad bacteria, and we need all of that in order for it to function the way it's supposed to function. And a lot of people's bacterium levels are just all messed up. So you got to get that uh, um, coordinated and get your gut healthy. And then when you start feeding it the nutrients, your body utilizes those nutrients appropriately. When your stomach is out of balance, you'll take the nutrients in and it just goes out the door. And so that's not what we want. We want your gut balance so it takes in the nutrients and then your body utilizes those nutrients. Then when your body utilizes those nutrients, the organs that need it utilize it, and then they start functioning well. So that's why aloe is important for your gut health. And then cumin again is an anti-inflammatory. It helps with the inflammation response. And then frankincense and myrrh are lovely. Those are two of the ingredients that were given to baby Jesus, right? And it wasn't just a gift for them, right? It's a gift for all of us. Frankincense and myrrh both have really awesome properties related to, again, inflammation as well as a number of other components. But those are relatively small in comparison to the number who have inflammation. When I interview those doctors that I talk about, they also said the source of all disease, not just some disease, but all disease, it starts with inflammation. So if you can reduce inflammation within your body, you can theoretically reduce a lot of the disease that people are getting. So that's why this supplement that we've created, Exodus, is unlike any other. And it just is incredibly helpful for so many reasons. And we're getting such a great response. In fact, I don't know if you can see my shirt, but I've got a picture of Terrell Owens on it. Terrell Owens, I don't know if you know him, but he's a NFL Hall of Fame a wide receiver. They used to call him Ocho Cinco back in the day. So probably people more my age know that know him than you. But it's really fun because he just created a commercial for Exodus, and it's fun to see that a celebrity like him that knows the benefits of these products. And also another important element of our product is our body, mind, and spirit connection, right? So I talk a lot about the body and the temple that God gave us and how important it is to feed it with nutrition. But then the other areas that are really important is your mind. Your mind needs to operate efficiently and effectively, and it needs the right nutrients. So a lot of our products, and even that molecular hydrogen, does cross the blood-brain barrier, so it can help with your brain and cognitive thinking. And then the spirit. is really important to us. So we include a prayer guide that goes along with every one of our products. So we have this prayer guide that's just a Monday through Sunday thing where we want you to speak it out loud in intention of reading the intention, the Bible verse, and then a prayer. And when you do that, you're using your mouth, which the Bible tells us there's power in the tongue. And I believe in that. And so when you declare it out loud and you hear yourself say it and you say it with your mouth and you read it with your eyes, and then you take our capsule and the capsule goes inside your body, you're using multiple of God's given senses that He gave you to help you with your health. So we think that mind body spirit connection is super important, and we believe that the mind is so powerful it can control your body, which it does. There's scientific reports and evidence that you can control your body with your mind, and we also know that if you put the right nutrients in your body, you're going to help improve it. And then if you combine in the spirit with that as well, then you have all three things working in a cohesive manner to help you get well.
So you mentioned something about the master antioxidant. What is
Yeah.
the master antioxidant?
That's an awesome question because it's super important because there are a lot of there's a lot of antioxidants out there that will get rid of free radicals, but also gets rid of good stuff. And you don't want to get rid of the good stuff within your bloodstream. You want to only get rid of the bad stuff. And that's why the master antioxidant is super important. It's also sometimes called selective antioxidant. And that's where this is so smart. The molecule, the molecular hydrogen, it knows what is a good molecule and what's a bad molecule. So on the bad molecules, it attaches to and then helps it leave the body, right? And then and it leaves the body and through your urine or through your sweat, etc. It helps get rid of it, detoxifies your bloodstream. But then on the good, when it finds the good mitochondrial cells, it helps that process work more efficiently. So that's why it's called a master antioxidant because it'll go in and it'll be smart and it'll get rid of the bad stuff and make the good better. So it's really amazing differentiator.
You're the host of the I Am Pain Free podcast, where, as you mentioned earlier, he shares stories, insights, and advice on natural and faithful living. How did the podcast come to be?
Yeah, another great question. Had a company that I still own today. Uses frequencies. It has little skin patches that use frequencies on them, and when you attach them to your body, it connects to the energy system in your body. And I thought that was really strange. I didn't believe it at all at first. I was like, "Oh, come on!" When I was introduced to this gentleman, he calls it quantum energy. Says I've got these quantum energy patches that you put in your body. I said, "There's no medicine in it." He's like, no, there's no medication. I'm like, how is that going to help you? Is that the one that he was showing us was called a pain relief patch. And so I took the patch and I didn't have any pain on me at the time. So I had to give it to other people. And when I gave it to them who were in pain, it helped them with their pain. I'm like, that's really weird. How does that work? I don't understand it. So I started go back to that skill set that I mentioned earlier, the research thing. So I said, okay, let me research this. How does this work? How does the body interact with frequencies? And then, during that research, it's fascinating that God made his body so complex, but it is made up of energy, right? Our body is. And then it also, even down to the cellular level, our cells interact with each other through vibration. And then those vibrations give off, guess what? A frequency. And so I learned that our body is energy and it interacts with frequencies, and even in itself, it gives off frequencies. So, and I did research on how external frequencies have an impact on the body, as well as we give off frequencies as a human being. And so those things I didn't understand either. I thought frequencies was a weird term and a woo-woo term. And the more I learned about it, it's like all God built all these frequencies. And frequencies are everywhere, so they're not weird. It's like color and sound, and the cell phones that we use. frequencies are absolutely everywhere, and there's good and bad frequencies. So when I understood that, I said, okay, you can take good frequencies and attach them to your body, and it can help with certain health issues. I was like, that's amazing. So we tried out that pain relief product, and we took it out to our community, and that's now our number one selling product is a product that is a patch that you put on your body, and it helps with reducing pain. So I was starting to do a ton of research on pain. So back to your original question, how did the podcast come about? It was because I was doing so much research on pain, and about 40% of our seniors have chronic pain issues. That's a super lot of people, right? A really large majority of our population, as they get older, have some type of pain that's chronic. And I'm like, that's a tragedy, right? We should figure out ways to help these people, and that's exactly what our product does. It's relatively inexpensive, something less than way less than a cup of coffee a day, right? You can apply this patch to your body, and it can be even as low as $1 a day, right? And then it can interact with your body, and then it helps with reducing in this particular product the pain. So it's been really fun to see that, and we're renaming that product to like an inflammation relief product because I guess the FDA and FTC doesn't like you to claim it can help with pain. And so we don't want to make any claims. Anything I'm saying, I can't make any health claims whatsoever on any of our products. So if I did, I didn't mean to do that. And, but it does, we have shown a lot of people it's helped with their levels of discomfort to where they've been able to function in a day that is amazing. So anyway, we're going to probably call it an inflammation relief or just a relief product. So then we can actually advertise it because we can't do advertising if we use the four letter word that's in my podcast name. But so I started that podcast so I could just help people. It's like, how do I find natural ways of relieving pain to help people? And that's how the podcast began.
Through all of your projects that you are currently doing with, what's the biggest takeaway that you want people to gain from it?
I think is that you need to take control of your own health, and that there's lots of resources for you to do so. And you can start off with I like to go with 4 or 5 basic free things that you can do. And if you start off with these 4 or 5 things and you try to do at least 3 or 4 of them every single day, your health is going to start improving. And then you're going to start realizing, oh my gosh, if I can start stacking these things on top of each other, I'm going to just improve more and more. And so I want to go through them really quickly because I think it's important. It's just free things, right? So why not try these, right? The first one is water, getting the right hydration levels. I'm about 200 pounds, so I need 100 ounces of water every day. So you need an ounce for every, 2 pounds of body weight that you are. And if you get that hydration, your body is made up of 60% water. So it really, really helps your organs work correctly. And try to get filtered water that doesn't have all of the fluoride and other bad things in it. So do that's relatively inexpensive, right? The second one is that vitamin D we talked about earlier, right? Vitamin D is so amazing for your body. If you get in the first 45 minutes of the day is called blue light. If you can get your body out in the sun and get your face in the sun and your body in the sun, there's no UV rays that first 45 minutes, and it's just incredibly healthy for your body. Then I like to combine it with the third one, which is grounding. So I get my socks and shoes off and put my feet on the ground, and that really discharges the negative energy that's in your body and refills your body up with positive energy. And that sounds strange, but I promise you, if you go do research on grounding, you're going to be like me. My wife told me about grounding. I thought she was crazy. Now I totally believe it because that's scientifically proven. But the nice thing about it is you can do those in concert, right? You can go outside the first 45 minutes a day, get some sun on your face. You can get your grounding done, and then you can also do the third one, which is breathing techniques. So there's literally evidence that you can improve your life by up to 7 years if you do these coordinated breathing techniques for a 7 or 8 minute period. So if you do that every single day, you're going to extend your life. So why would you not do that? So you can spend some time in the sun in the morning with your feet on the ground, do some breathing techniques. There's 3 out of the 5 things already, right? That you've done, and then just get hydration during the day. And those things combined, I believe, are enough to get you started. And nutrition is the fifth one, right? It's like you're going to eat anyway. So why don't you start looking at what you are eating and get the right nutrients in your body that's going to help your body operate the way it's supposed to be. And then, man, you start getting that cycle together, and the fog's gonna be cleared away. You're gonna start thinking better. You're going to start feeling better, and you're gonna be making a transition. You're like, this guy isn't crazy. This guy maybe has some ideas that are helpful, and then you can start looking at other things. And we have products like our patches that help people, and then we also have the supplement that I believe is really impactful in helping people's life as well. So you can combine the things that work for you. You can also, if you have a lot of money, you can buy a $5,000 grounding mat, which you can buy, but why won't you just do it for free? Just take off your socks and shoes and get your feet on the dirt, right? You don't need to spend $5,000. So that's what I'd like to impart on people today.
Well, Rob, I appreciate you so much for joining me today. And now I'm going to give you the floor, promote everything, website, any social media platforms that you would like anyone to know. Just plug it all in.
All right, sounds good. Well, obviously, Exodus Strong, that's the name of my brand. That is something you're going to see a lot of in the future because it's really exciting what we're doing there and how it's helping people. And even, we got Terrell Owens signed up to promote the product, and he just did a commercial for us. So we created something that's a campaign specifically to help people get into use our product for a lot less money. So I want to offer that to your community. Just go to toexodus.com. So TO as in Terrell Owens, toexodus.com. And we have a page there. It's like 30 to 40% cheaper than our normal website page that you can get our products for. So just go there, get a couple of bottles for you and your family, and then the more you buy, you can get even these travel packs that you can share with people, which is pretty fun too, because then you can share health with others, and it's just a really impactful way to do it. And then, we're doing some really fun things. I Am Pain Free Podcast is my podcast. So if you're interested if you know people who are in pain, it's a great podcast to go back and look at past episodes, as well as I interview someone every week. We talk about all natural health and how to do things naturally. So that's a great resource. So I think I'll just leave you with those two, but go to toexodus.com for a special on the Exodus product line, and I think you'll be really amazed. If you're interested in the frequency products, it's QE Strong. So for quantum energy, QEstrong.com. So toexodus.com and QE Strong.
And as I always do, I'll put all of his links down in the description box. I'll put his podcast, some of his social media, and the website links down there below as well. So it's all in one place, so you won't have to go searching for them. Rob, I appreciate you so much for joining me today and telling me your story and telling me a lot about your company. And for people that need this, take it up on the offer and, this feel free to reach out to him and try to get some medicine that's beneficial for you, and just let y'all know that these resources are here for you and that you're more than welcome to use them. So Rob, again, thank you so much.
You bet. God bless you. I appreciate you having me on.
Feel free to follow the podcast on social media. You can catch me on Instagram and TikTok at Lethal Venom Podcast, as well as Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. It's Noah's Podcast for both of those platforms. Feel free to follow them to get updates about the episodes that are coming out, as well as just other stuff on the social media side. And you can also listen to Lethal Venom wherever you get your podcasts from. I'm available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, iHeartRadio, YouTube, Pandora. Is really everywhere where all podcasts are available. So feel free to subscribe to the podcast, and so you'll be notified when new episodes come out. Thank you all for listening. Y'all have a great rest of your day, and I will catch you all in the next episode of Lethal Venom.